Hey my friends, welcome back to a new video. This is your confirmation that your manifestation will soon take place. So I want to remind you with this video, as the topic is your timeline is shifting. We'll be talking about shifting the timelines and 5 things you must know when it comes to this topic. So before we go into it, I want to remind you to stop lowering your standards because you haven't manifested your heart's desires yet. Because often when people don't see their manifestations happening, they start lowering down their standards, and suddenly they fall into that state of unworthiness, of losing the trust that they can actually change, that they can transform their lives. And I want to remind you, stop lowering down your standards, because the energy always needs some time to take its forms and to manifest. So the energy can only form with consistency, even when you see no results. And to me, that's the act of bravery, believing in yourself until you see the fruits of your efforts. So don't lose trust, my friends. When it comes to shifting our timelines, it comes to a greater degree of consciousness of what we are paying attention to most of the time. So the first thing that we need to know when it comes to shifting our timelines is that most of the time you are unconsciously focusing onto something. And you need to recognize what it is, because most people are focusing on to lacking this and lacking that, lacking money, lacking health, lacking relationships. And sometimes we focus on negative beliefs and we create some negative perceptions about how our life looks like, the self-image and so on. When it comes to shifting the timeline, it means that we need to use our consciousness to design a new goal or design a new vision onto which we will attach a great meaning, because we will only feel inspired to do something when we give a great meaning to that thing, why we want to get there, why we want to create it. And it means that we need to become more familiar with a certain vision that we have, or with certain goals that we have, or with a new perception of life, and with a new self-image. And consistency is required to make that shift. So to make that shift in our mind, it means that we need to be consistent with applying something new. That's how the let go of the old can happen, by starting focusing on something new. So redesigning your life starts with some conscious decisions and conscious choices about what you want to experience in your life. And then you write down the goals. And an important thing when it comes to shifting our timelines is that sometimes we'll feel uninspired, because again our mind is falling back into familiarity, and we'll feel uninspired to do what we know that is necessary to do. Sometimes we feel uninspired to meditate, but that's the best time to go into meditation, because what I found out in my life is that when I don't feel like meditating, I always have the most profound meditations. When I feel like not working out, I have the greatest possible workouts at the end. And that's so interesting. And I think the biggest reason for that is that when we feel uninspired to do something, but we still do it, we always overcome a certain limited belief about ourselves. And when we overcome a certain limited belief about ourselves, we show to ourselves that there's another side of us. There's a greater stage, or the greater state of being available to us. And all we need to do is to overcome a certain limitation. So pay attention to what you're unconsciously focusing on by being more self-aware, by truly paying attention to what you're thinking right now. What is the thing that is reassuring to you that you can't do something? Because you can change that. If life is made by tiny little choices we make on moment by moment basis, then we just need to become more conscious of our choices and to see what is inspiring our decisions, our choices. What kind of thoughts and beliefs are inspiring us to do what we are doing. Because that's where we give birth to a transformation. The second thing you must know about shifting your timeline is that when you're shifting your timeline, you will start experiencing more synchronicities and interesting coincidences. So if you have noticed in your life that there were phases where you were experiencing more synchronicities than ever before, those were times where you were also making major changes in your life. Maybe you've started changing your diet, you've started changing the way you're treating yourself, you've started applying new spiritual rituals, or you've started meditating, or you've changed the way you're meditating, or you've started spending more time in nature, you've started meeting new people, whatever it was. Maybe you've changed your job or your hobbies, or whatever it was. Those are the times where we start experiencing more synchronicities, and we start experiencing more happiness and more joy and more love for life and more of those blissful sensations. When those things are happening, it means that we are changing our direction in life, and that's when we shift our timeline. When we change our direction in life, it means that we've completely changed our energy, we've changed our focus, our attention. We've started navigating ourselves completely differently, and therefore we started thinking differently. And because we've started thinking differently, we've started feeling differently, which means that our whole electromagnetic field started changing. And because of that, we started attracting new results in our lives, and it all starts with synchronicities, simple manifestations. Like sometimes, we are thinking about something and suddenly we hear a song about it, or again, we are thinking about something and we see a book about that topic. We start seeing numbers all over the place. We start meeting people which are already doing what we want to do, and so on. Those are, interesting, what we call sometimes coincidences. But of course, there's nothing like coincidence. It's all an alignment of energies. As our energy starts aligning with energies of our future, we start to receive and attract some of those tiny manifestations as reassurances to keep up with the changes, keep up with consistency, keep up with what we are doing. So it's a beautiful reminder for you that you're doing the right thing and that your heartfelt desires are coming to you. If you will stay consistent, if you will keep overcoming yourself, your limitations, you will get where you want to be. The third thing you must know when it comes to shifting our timelines is something which is to me really, really important. As we are all a part of the collective, we shouldn't forget about it. So what it means? It means that as we are living in the world here where we are cooperating, we are working together, as we are thinking and feeling and doing things, we shouldn't forget that we are part of the collective. So when you are working on manifesting your life the way you want to live it, also pay attention to how you want to experience yourself in the society, and how we want to see the society, and how we want to see that collective mind evolving, in what kind of way it is evolving. It's important to pay some attention to that, because it doesn't matter how well you live your life if you don't feel at home where you are, or if you don't feel happy in the society, right? And more we start paying attention to a vision of how healthy the society is, how happy the society is, how excited people around us are for living, how much they experience love for life, how much we are all connected, how much we are all united in that beautiful energy of love and honesty. If we build a vision like that, we'll also start thinking differently once again, and we'll start treating each other differently. We can't have that beautiful image of the society and be hateful to one another, right? So that's where the whole shift can take place in the way we think about each other and about humanity and, everything, about animals, about nature, about everything that puts everything together. If the earth is right now our home, our physical home in this dimension, let's see everything working in harmony. And it's a beautiful part we could add to whatever practice you do for your manifestation. If you're journaling, if you're visualizing, if you're thinking, if you're setting some goals like I want to help more people in the next month or whatever it is, always include also people and nature and animals and everything into that vision, because only that way we can truly experience a life of fulfillment. The fourth thing and the fifth thing that I want to add here that you must know when it comes to shifting the timelines is, in the fourth thing, I will be talking about what is pulling you back into your old self, back into your old timeline. And in the fifth thing, I will be talking about what will help you to shift faster. So these are two different things, but two really, really important things which are coming together. So what is pulling us back into our old selves is complaining. When we complain, we fall into lower emotional states and we get back into that state of separation. We only complain because we don't appreciate. We complain because we compare ourselves with others. And we all know that comparison is the thief of joy. And when we are not joyful, we are in the state where we don't want to be. That's why we complain. Then, when we say, oh, I miss the old days, it means that you're living in your past. And if you're living in your past, you can't create a greater future. And that's what is lowering a lot of our energy. That's what is draining a lot of our energy. So most people live in their past because they don't know how to experience a life of fulfillment in the present moment. And if we can't truly live a life of fulfillment if we are only attached to our past. Maybe something really beautiful was going on in your past, but it's gone now and you think you can't recreate it, or you can't experience that joy anymore because people changed, circumstances changed, you've changed, and you want to go back in time. But change is a part of nature, change is a law of nature. And if you're staying attached to your past, you're blocking the most wonderful manifestations that could take place in your life and bring you that sense of fulfillment. So if you're missing the old days, it's because you don't believe that in the future there's something even more incredible. And you don't believe that just because you're so attached to your past. Let go of the past means that you express gratitude for it, you reflect it, you can sense that wonderful sensation that your past brought to you. But then ask yourself, what could I do right now to experience more joy? to sense the changes that are taking place, to go with the flow of life. What are some new goals you could reach, which could maybe help you to transform or to transcend certain shadows which are holding you to the past? Maybe there's something you're avoiding, and that's why you like to wander into your past. Maybe there's something that is blocking you. Maybe you think you're not good with your social skills, or maybe you think you're not good for building new relationships, or you think you're not worthy of changes, or whatever it is. Pay attention to what is holding you back and overcome that. Build a beautiful future for yourself, because if you want to shift your timeline in the most beautiful way, you need to see your future in the most beautiful way, and then you need to walk towards it, as we're always talking about it. As same as we are painting, for example, you can only paint a beautiful painting if you see it. If you see it in your mind's eye, if you have a sense for what kind of beautiful painting or what kind of colors you need to pick to put onto the canvas, so it will make those beautiful combinations and it will give you a sense of beauty. And we need to see it firstly. So pay attention to that, my friends. If you're missing the old days, it means that you're lacking a vision for the future, and that's what is blocking your transformation and draining a lot of your energy. Also, most people are pulled back into their past because they're not setting meaningful goals and raising their standards to accomplish them. So sometimes we say goals are bad and we shouldn't have them, especially when it comes to more mindfulness philosophy or to Zen philosophy. But we may recognize that we need some goals, because if we don't have goals, we may fall into our unconscious patterns and we may never change for the better if that's something we need to do. So if we're not setting meaningful goals and raising our standards to accomplish them, we may stay blocked. We may stay in that state of laziness, in that state of not doing anything. So pay attention to what you're following, to what you're doing on moment by moment basis. Like when you start your day, is there something you're looking up for? Is there something you believe in? Is there something you want to do? Is there something that inspires you? And even when you're not inspired, what are the things you want to accomplish in your life or you want to do in your life? Maybe it's just becoming more aligned with yourself, becoming more connected with nature. Maybe it's losing weight, maybe it's gaining some muscle to feel healthier, or whatever it is. Pay attention to that, because people which are not setting meaningful goals in their lives are also staying attached to their past, which is not serving them anymore. So that's what is draining, again, a lot of our energy, because we fall back into that state of laziness and we disconnect ourselves from that flow of nature which is constantly moving. Also, lack of consistency. People try new things but never finish them. You know that when we're consistent at something, we teach ourselves that we can become good at anything we try. And when it comes to shifting our timelines, it's required to be consistent with applying new thoughts, with applying new actions, with building new habits, with changing our energy, with meditation, with visualization, whatever works for you. If you're not consistent with it, you will always say that things just don't work for you. Then people have the fear of change also. That's what is pulling them back. And fear of change comes from feeling unworthy of the version of yourself that you want to be. Stay conscious about it. You are worthy of anything you set your mind to. And of course, people are ignoring emotional wounds and escaping their shadow self. And that's what is holding them back into the past. So if you're paying attention to your emotional wounds and every single day you take time to overcome that, to heal that, to, take some time for self-care, whatever you need. And journaling is so important when it comes to emotional wounds, because often we are just trained to behave certain way when we are alone, when we are in society, when we are hanging with people. We are trained to behave certain way. And in order to heal a certain emotional wound, sometimes we just need to catch ourselves when we are behaving the way we don't want to behave anymore. And we start applying a new approach. And of course, we need some knowledge. We need to know what could be a healthier way to communicate with people or to treat ourselves. And then we start applying it slowly and consistently. And that's how we start healing our wounds from the past. We recognize that, maybe some hard things happened in the past, but I'm ready to overcome that. I'm ready to deal with that. And that's where we may meet our shadow self. We may meet that a part of us will start blocking those changes because it's unfamiliar, it's unpleasant. And that's where we start truly deciding what is the most important to us. Do we still want to carry this wounds into the future, or are we ready to bring more profound emotional sensations into that future? Do we want to bring more healing, more love, more joy, more peace, more blissfulness, more ecstasy into the future? Because if the answer is yes, then it's time to let go of what is blocking you, what is limiting you. And when we're doing that, that's where we're letting go of the past the most, and that's where we open ourselves for the greatest possible miracles. And the fifth thing, what will help you to shift faster, is having meaningful and inspiring vision for the future, having meaningful goals, writing them down, reminding us what we are doing, especially at the days when we feel uninspired, unmotivated, that we remind ourselves what we are doing, what kind of direction we are going, what we're doing with our lives. What are our values? How our actions are aligned with our values? And if they're not, how could we align our actions with our values? That's what will help us to shift ourselves faster, to shift our reality faster. If you're ready to meet your demons, inner demons as we call it, it's all an illusion actually. Those are inner fears, inner struggles which are made up often with our mind, certain stories which awaken certain emotions. When you're ready to deal with those emotions, you will shift much faster. So if you're wondering how to meet your demons, you can just close your eyes and go into your deepest fears, what you're afraid the most, what you're worrying about constantly. What's the thing that you believe that is holding you back? Because those are some made up stories. Something happened in your past and you've made up the most understandable story which could explain what actually happened. And you've started believing into it, and you've attached some strong lower emotions to that, so you would stay protected from re-experiencing it again by a strong sensation of fear or anger or sadness, and that's what you don't want to tap into it. But to deal with that, to meet your shadow side, means that you go into it and you recognize the truth within the stories which are awakening the unpleasant emotions. Because the truth is, you just didn't know how to, what actually happened, what was the truth. And dealing with it may bring to us a great revealing of meaning, or it can free us from a lot of that heaviness. So pay attention to that. You can find many truly useful information about the shadow work. Read some books about that if you need more knowledge, and you will see that you can do so much of the things which will help you to shift yourself faster. Then stay consistent with whatever you're doing. As you're getting better at one thing, you will realize that you can get better at anything. So if you say that you're not good with manifesting or following your dreams, it's because you haven't tried it yet, or if you have tried it, you were not consistent enough to recognize that you're actually good at it. I was never good at painting until I've started to become better at it, right? So always stay consistent with whatever you're doing. Stay consistent as long as you get to where you want to be. That's how you will train yourself to become better at whatever you're doing. And the last thing that I want to add here is that will amplify your energy is to start and end your day with gratitude. Start your day with gratitude for the things, for small things and for the big things, for the things which are present and for the things which are about to be present, which are coming to you, which you're attracting them. Start your day with gratitude and end your day with gratitude. That's how you will train yourself to become more grateful automatically, unconsciously. And gratitude always amplifies our healing. It amplifies and strengthens our energy, our vital life force. So practice gratitude. You've heard a lot about gratitude and everything is so true. But often we say thanks for the things, but we don't actually feel it. So practice this. Feel it. You need to feel it. You need to feel grateful. And that's why meditation is powerful, because we can lower down our the sound of the analytical mind, and we can amplify the sound of the heart, where we just sense gratitude for the things we have, for the things we will have, and for who we are, for our bodies, for that opportunity to experience what life has to offer, to dream, to think, to be free, to experience love, to experience joy, to experience passion, and so on. So it's so important. My friends, this is it for today. I'm sending you lots of love, blessings, and power. Today I've shared with you painting infinite potential, because it is within you. The seed of infinite potentials is within you. And I just want to remind you of how powerful you are. So my friends, thanks for supporting my art in my Etsy shop. You're all truly appreciated. If you want to get some daily reminders, go and check out my Instagram page, AttractPassion. And if you would like to see my art gallery, go and check out my other Instagram page, I Draw My Passion. See you there. Till next time, one love.